let's go a little bit deeper into that season, and specifically the Francis Marion game that got you into the PBC tournament championship game. Early in the season, twice, you lost to them by big margins.
Yeah.
What are you talking to about with your team as you go into that semifinal game, and just some of the adjustments you might have made in that game?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was one of those. Sometimes you have games where the opposing team gives you all the motivation you need. And Francis Marion is one of those teams. And, they had, we've got 2 players on our team from Florence. And the new coach had nothing to do with her. She'd come after we signed the players. But for some reason that had, I don't know, she took some heat around it, but people said something to her, even though it had nothing to do with her. And so we had a rivalry really developed last year. And, we knocked them out of the conference tournament last year. And then this year they beat us. And like I said, the point spreads were huge. But if you watch the games, with 4 minutes to go, we're down 3. And as the game was on, they really, in our minds, really ran it up a little bit on us.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, and that's you don't take it personally. That's what, it's her team. If they can do that, well, they're welcome to do that. But you remember those things. And 2 games, both games, it's very close heading into the end of the game, and they really, 30 seconds to go, they're subbing offense, defense, and really, putting it on us a little bit when the game's in hand.
Yeah.
And and that's fine. I have no problem with that, but it certainly motivates players.
Right.
And so we just kept. We felt we were getting stronger as the season went on. And when that game was over, Rock Wise, our radio guy, we were talking with him, and he said, "What are your thoughts on this game?" And I said, "I know you think we're crazy." I said, "But there's one team we want in this conference tournament. It's Francis Marion." And I said, "I know everything's we're crazy. They just beat us twice. They're ranked in the top 20. They got a great team, but that's who we want. We want another shot at them." And they were the only team in the conference to sweep us in the regular season. And so when it came around, that was the game we wanted. It was easy to motivate the players for it. They were up for it, and they really played one of their better games of the season.
Coming off of the emotional high of that game, the semifinal game, and then you go on to beat USC Aiken in that PBC tournament championship game. Talk to me a little bit about coming off that and then going to the low of losing in the first round, the first regional game in the NCAA Division II women's basketball tournament to, I think it was Tusculum.
Tusculum, yeah.
Yeah, just talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, drawing USC Aiken in the championship game was not, we felt like we could get to the championship game, but we honestly weren't sure we could win it once we got there.
Yeah.
USC Aiken had a great team, and actually they, like Francis Marion, that was the second team. Those were the only 2 teams that swept us in the regular season. And playing at Aiken on their home floor, we just weren't so sure we were going to be able to win that game. They run a very disciplined system. With our young team, I wasn't sure we could handle it. We had not very well in the year.
Right.
And we just kind of came out, and we just kept telling our team, if you can get to halftime, if it's a game at halftime, we liked our chances. But we were really, as coaches, worried about the first 20 minutes and the game being away from us. Shannon McKeever, our best player, gets in foul trouble 2 minutes into the game, goes to the bench.
Yeah.
And you can just see the team kind of deflate. But they keep fighting, they keep battling. And at halftime, we're up by, I think, maybe 1 or 2 points. Come out, go on a nice run, and win that game. And just, very euphoric. Everyone's excited. Had done something that no one expected. The year before we won, we had to win. We had all these great players. They were seniors. We had to win.
Yeah.
This year, it just wasn't in the card. We weren't expecting it. So it was a lot of fun. And so then you come in, and now look who you play. You play Tusculum. Well, it's just like last year. Last year, we played Armstrong, Francis Marion, and Aiken, and then won those 3 games to win the conference tournament, then played Tusculum as a 2-7 matchup. Well, this year, the exact same thing. Play those same 3 teams in the conference tournament and draw Tusculum in the 7-2 matchup again in the NCAA tournament. And this year, it just wasn't in the cards for us. We get out there, and I know, you read the paper and said 1 and done, and it was kind of a disappointing look at it, but that's not how we felt. We were very excited to be there.
Right.
That experience for this young team, just getting the NCAA tournament, seeing what it's about, was very positive and beneficial for us, and I think we'll reap the rewards of that in the years to come. But you get there, and once again, a minute and a half of the game, Shannon McKeever picks up her 2nd foul. And here we go again, and this time it was just really deflated.
Yeah.
And we held tight, and then they go on a run. We had to change our game plan a little bit. They were very well coached, a very talented team, and at that point, they were just better than we were. Going to tournament, we didn't know how good we were.
Yeah.
And we were good enough to lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So a little bit better than we thought when the year started. But there's a lot of reason for optimism. When you look at this team, Shannon McKeever scored 16 points in the second half of that game.
Yeah.
And had she been able to play more than 1.5 minutes in the first half, maybe it's a different game. But we can honestly look at it and say, well, maybe we might have been good enough to win that game. And it's a lot to build on for this coming year.
Talk to me a little bit about, I would put you right there with some of the top recruiters around this area. Witnessed by the fact that you went to you had so much success with the freshmen and sophomores from last season. Could you talk to me a little bit about your recruiting process? I mean, is there any kind of steps that y'all follow in that process?
Like I said, the first thing we do is we look local. We're very fortunate to have some good talent around here. You look at Susan Thompson at Greenwood, what a great job she does. Coach Duckett's been a staple at Emerald, done a great job. They're always in the postseason mix. I think you start local and you kind of build from without there. LaShawna Child's the best player, lead scorer in the history of Division II women's basketball, and we pulled her right here out of Greenwood High School. So that's the first thing we do, is we look local. The second thing is you have to find a mix. It's like when you call me and you want to do this interview. Well, if I really want to come do the interview and you're like, well, he's kind of my bottom of the barrel candidate, well, then we don't really have good mix. And
right.
Same thing, if you really want me to come and I'm like, well, I'm kind of looking around, maybe some other interviews. Well, you have to have that balance.
Right.
And when you find two people who are on the same page, who have the same goals, and really want to be together, and I think you have to find that family and that marriage that works well, and that's a big thing. So when we recruit a kid, our big recruiting pitch is every kid we recruit for the most part has Division I interest. And we tell them, if you find a Division I school that's going to offer you and say, listen, we're going to give you a full scholarship, you're going to play a fair amount, and you're going to win. Well, we tell that kid, well, guess what? Jonathan, you need to go to that school. But we try to find the kids who have Division I offers where, you can come here, but you may not play so much as a freshman. And we lost 20 games last year. And my pitch to you is, well, why would you go play at a Division I school when you can come here, you can win a conference championship, you're going to play, right. You're going to get your degree, we're going to take care of you, we're going to treat you like a Division I player.
Right.
And I think that's got a lot to do with the type of kids we get in. And fortunately, within a 4-hour radius of Greenwood, we've got enough of those players we can get to make us competitive.
You're known for your high-scoring offenses. You routinely go over the century mark in Finest Horn Arena. I was just wondering what your philosophy is on offense and why you're so successful at it.
Because we're not very good defensively. We've got to be good offensively.
Yeah.
But, 2 years ago when we won the league, that was certainly the case. We had a very, LaShawna Child's tier good, the best offensive players I've ever coached. But defensively, they gave up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we gave up a lot of points, so we had to score. We practiced at a high pace, and I think that helped us. But we had a running team. But it's just, I'm a big believer. I don't think you can be great at both. It's hard to be a great offensive coach and a great defensive coach. Because when you're in practice, you can't be great at both. One is going to dictate the other.
Right.
And that's, we've decided to pick our poison and go with the offensive side. If I'm recruiting, I'm saying, listen, you can come in here and we're going to score in the 80s, 90s, and 100 occasionally. And then you go visit another school and they say, listen, you're going to guard your tail off, and we're going to hold people in the 50s, and if you can't defend, you're not going to play. Our recruiting pitch, I think, is going to be a little bit more enticing to you.
Right.
And so that's helped us as well. But we are improved. We were much better defensively this year. We were one of the best teams in the league as far as steals go. Turnover margin, I think we were second in the conference. We were ranked in the top 20 in the country in that category. So we try, and our whole theory is offensively, let's make you go faster than you want to go. We want to control the tempo. And defensively, can we make you do something that you don't want to do by speeding you up, by trapping you, by pressing you? And they kind of go hand in hand.